10 things every motorcycle enthusiast should know about the 2022 BMW R18. The BMW R18 is a worthy competitor to the established brands in the cruiser motorcycle segment. The BMW R18 is a motorcycle that has got a separate fan base in the United States and the entire world. The massive boxer motor, unmatched attention to detail and design, and the adequately comfortable on-road behavior made it one of the fiercest competitors of the motorcycles from American brands like Harley-Davidson and Indian. With the arrival of the 2022 BMW R18, this German motorcycle manufacturer has taken all these qualities and made it even more polished. The 2022 BMW R18 has been launched for a base MSRP of $15,995 and still gets one of the biggest catalogs of optional accessories and features. It is one of the most customizable motorcycles of the segment, similar to the 2022 Harley-Davidson Softail series and the 2022 Indian Chief. Being an almost perfect motorcycle in the cruiser segment, let us look at 10 things every motorcycle enthusiast should know about the 2022 BMW R18. 10. One of the torquiest motors in the segment. With no major changes from the outgoing 2021 model, the 2022 BMW R18 comes with the same air and oil-cooled 2-cylinder 4-stroke boxer engine, which has an engine capacity of 1,802 cc. It produces a respectable 91 horsepower and a massive 116 pound-feet of torque, making it one of the torquiest cruisers of the segment. This motor has a compression ratio of 9.61. The 2022 R18 is an excellent proposition if you value cruising more than anything. Coming with an unstressed motor that has a wide torque band, the mid-range is where it shines the most. The acceleration is deceptive and doesn't need any gear shifts for a quick overtake. Even the low-end performance is superb too. 9. Unmatched build quality. Being a Bimmer, the build quality hasn't seen compromise anywhere. The body of the 2022 BMW R18 is mostly made out of metal and feels very premium. The panel gaps are minimal and consistent, and the paint quality is easily the best of the segment too. All the touch points like the handlebar, bar end grips, and many more, have evident craftsmanship to them, which you expect from a motorcycle that costs a whopping MSRP of $15,995. The chrome finishing and the tactile switchgear uplift the overall feel of the motorcycle, too. In comparison, the Harley-Davidson Softail Slim is a notch below the R18 in terms of build quality. 8. Not much to fault regarding highway riding experience. Riding through the open highways in the 2022 BMW R18 turned out to be quite enjoyable. The motor has an abundance of torque under its sleeve, and that makes the ride through the highways effortless. Apart from that, there are all the electronic nannies safeguarding the rider, all of which would come to help when something goes south. With such a massive boxer engine that protrudes to both sides, many would expect the motorcycle to throw the heat directly to the rider. However, this is not the case. The boxer engine doesn't heat up as much as the similarly priced Harleys, and the NVH level is superior too. The ride quality turned out to be decent, and the R18 is very stable as well. 7. Gearbox makes the ride even more enjoyable. The 6-speed transmission of the 2022 BMW R18 is superior to the motorcycles from the Harley-Davidson lineup. The shifts feel very positive, and the action is slick too. The rider would have no problems navigating through the gears, and the chances of a false neutral is next to none. The gearbox is engineered with proper German perfection, and that does uplift the riding experience quite a bit. The clutch is light, and the grab point of the clutch is not too far away from the depressed position, both of which make it a great motorcycle in the cities. However, with prolonged riding through the peak traffic, the transmission does get a bit clunky due to the heat. The Shift Assist Pro system is not offered as an option either. 6. The pushrod motor has subtle vibrations. Being a pretty old tech motor with 2 valves per cylinder and pushrod architecture, the 2022 BMW R18 is not as butter smooth as the other motorcycles from their lineup. The NVH level is not the best, however, it is far superior to the monikers from the Harley stable like the Softail series. At the lower reverend range, the rider could feel subtle vibrations in the foot pegs, and that is not going to be a deal breaker. When riding on the freeways, the vibrations could be felt from the handlebar and noticed in the mirrors as well. Even when redlining this boxer motor, the double-cradle tubular steel chassis, and the rubber-mounted components do a wonderful job in limiting vibrations. 5. Riding through the city is doable. Many of the prospective buyers would expect the 2022 BMW R18 to be pretty terrible when ridden through the cities, and that is not entirely true. Even though the size of the R18 makes its presence, this is much easier to ride in the traffic in comparison to the rivals like the Indian Chief and the Harley-Davidson Softail Slim. The boxer motor which sticks to either side doesn't make the motorcycle cumbersome to handle in the congested traffic condition. The heating is well under control and doesn't cook the legs of the rider. However, the heavy curb weight makes the motorcycle a bit hard in navigating and splitting lanes, especially in the peak rush hour traffic. 4. Ergonomics is a mixed bag. The 2022 BMW R18 has a straight-up riding position, which is what is required for a cruiser that is designed for munching miles. The handlebar is very wide and is positioned in such a way that the rider doesn't need to lean forward. This makes the riding experience pretty good, and the rider could cruise for a longer period with less fatigue. The footpegs are also forward set, similar to the Harley-Davidson Softail series, and there is nothing to complain about it as well. The only issue with the 2022 R18 which would affect the riding experience has to be the protruding engine. Stretching the legs is not possible, since the cylinder head is in front of the footpegs. 3. Road presence is a notch above the rivals. The enticing design language of the outgoing 2021 BMW R18 is carried forward to this 2022 iteration as well. The wide 180 section 16 inches tire, dual disc setup, round LED headlight with a tinge of chrome surrounding it, and the beautiful paint scheme make it stand out quite well. However, it is the side profile that looks $1 million. The tank design is drop-dead gorgeous, and the neat pin striking makes it look more expensive than the already steep price tag. The engine that sticks out, twin fishtail exhaust, and the overall attention to detail manages to turn heads wherever the R18 goes. 2. Gets a decent list of features. When it comes to features, it is more packed than the similarly priced motorcycles from Harley-Davidson, Triumph, and Indian. The single-pod instrument cluster has a speedometer and a small digital display that shows the riding mode, odometer, service notification, trip information, and many more. However, a tachometer is missing. The LED headlight, indicators and taillight, ABS, traction control, automated stability control, keyless ride, and 3 riding modes are offered as standard too. However, the reverse gear functionality is only offered as an option. A sea of optional accessories like custom handlebar, wheels, seats, and many more can be added to the motorcycle too. 1. Not the most capable corner carver. The chassis of the 2022 BMW R18 does offer a positive feel and feedback while cornering. It is quite stiff and is capable of holding the motorcycle around a corner without making the rider feel tense. The riding dynamics are superior to all the competitors too. However, this is not the motorcycle to buy if your primary intention is to ride fast around backroads and racetracks. The front end is handled by the 49mm telescopic fork, and that is pretty stiff. It only gets suspension travel of 4.7. The rear end comes with a steel swing arm with a central shock strut and automatic preload adjustment with load and ride height sensors. The motorcycle is quite heavy and hence tipping into the corner is pretty hard. The back end tends to get a bit loose too.